What's going on, everybody? How we doing? It's Monday night. We made it through about 24 hours after the loss. How we feeling? Everybody get in here. If you are joining me in the live stream, make sure that you do hit the like button. I'm gonna let this thing fill up for about a minute or so, and then we're going to get into everything that there is to talk about. I'm going to be honest, this is not really a scripted stream in the sense that, I've got some topics that I want to hit on. We're going to watch back some of the plays from the Seahawks loss on Sunday Night Football. We're going to look at some stats. We're going to talk about trade deadline, all that great stuff. But anything you guys want to talk about, make sure you do throw it in the comments as we go through. Make sure you throw it in the live chat. You guys are going to be kind of the captains of the stream. You're going to steer the direction in which we go. So like I said, I'm going to give it about another 30, 60 seconds or so, and we're going to hop into everything that there is to talk about right now. If you guys are joining me, how you feeling tonight? Long Monday, long day at work. It was for me too. I stayed up after the game had ended. Stayed up just because I needed to hear Dan Quinn's press conference. Could not wait until the morning. And I get up at 6 a.m. every morning. I think I went to bed at like 12:45 on Sunday night. So about 5 hours of sleep or so before work starts. To some people, that's enough. If you're one of those people, I'm jealous of you. Went through a period in my life right after I graduated college where I was sleeping about 3 to 4 hours a night for like 2 years. And it was great. I was productive, but you get very absorbed in your work or absorbed in the work, and you don't really do much else. Brent Alexander here says, as a Redskins, Commanders, Hokies, and Braves fan, sports are no fun right now. Listen, okay, I'm a Hokie too, and I'm pretty confident we're getting James Franklin. I'm pretty sure we're getting James Franklin. Now, that might not be great from the perspective of winning the national championship, but considering we're becoming the doormat of the ACC right now, James Franklin's going to get us back to the ACC championship basically every year. And I can't out anybody. I can't out what I know. But I can tell you I do know some things going on behind the scenes down there. And good progress has been made for a couple of days now, if not a little bit longer than that. My understanding is we're at the point in negotiations where there's a principle in place, and now we're haggling over agent fees and bonuses and things like that. That's my understanding of it. I took a drive just to clear my mind after the loss. Did you do that at 1 a.m? Because if so, what time do you wake up for work? You must have been a tired boy today out there. All right, guys. Let's see. That is true. Huge fans of Arians helping too. Yeah, I gotta say, I think it's a little crazy that the Hokies are having an 8-person council for the search, but I do really like Bruce Arians being there as well. Okay, guys. So if you are joining me, first and foremost, thank you for being here with me. I know that there's a lot of other streams going on right now. Also, I'm going to be on a stream again later with several other Commanders YouTubers. I will be making a post for that. So if you have interest in watching it, we're going live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you're part of the late crowd or maybe you're West Coast, whatever, you want some later entertainment, make sure to check that out. I will post the link to that in its own post on my sub box. So if you're subscribed to me, make sure you can find it there. And if you're not, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. What are we talking about? Well, we were talking about Virginia Tech's coaching search, but you guys didn't come here for the Hokies. We are talking about several things. The first thing I want to do is I want to go through and I want to watch some of the All-22 with you guys. And honestly, like I don't want to get super technical with it. I really don't. I just want to show both sides of the football, really. Jayden, we're going to see that, yes, he was not seeing people very well, but also receivers were just failing to separate. But the more interesting part of it is what happened over on the defense. And that's actually probably where I'm going to start. Let me just do one quick check to make sure we didn't trade anybody while I was getting the stream up and going. The Titans are sending Draymond Jones to the Ravens for a conditional 5th-round pick. Okay, so that's one person out of the running. I didn't really expect us to trade for him. Oh, 11 minutes ago, Frankie. Wow. Frankie Luvu has just been suspended, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL has just suspended Frankie Luvu. This is 11 minutes ago. I'm not joking. Let me get this up on the screen for you guys. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Gotta take the banner down. See my beautiful mug right here. And now let me share my screen with you all. Share screen. Commanders. All right. First things first. Can I hide this? Okay. We're going to mute that. Okay. Commanders linebacker Frankie Luvu has been suspended without pay for 1 game for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players, including during Sunday's game against the Seattle Seahawks. And then right here, here's the hip drop tackle Monday night that got Commanders LB Frankie Luvu suspended as a result of cumulative violations. He's wearing number 4. Let's go full screen on this. Luvu is right here. Let's see what he
rolled in his first year as Seattle's offensive coordinator. Switch up the back to Zach Charbonnet. For UCLA Bruin, Michigan Wolverine. Smith and Jigba again to the 47-yard line. For UCLA Bruin, Michigan Wolverine. Smith and Jigba again. For UCLA Bruin, Michigan Wolverine. Smith and Jigba.
What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that? There is a chance. Well, I shouldn't even say that. That's not even what I wanted to say, actually. I don't know why I just said those words. You might have been able to give Frankie Luvu the benefit of the doubt beforehand. A lot of Eagles fans in particular were calling Frankie Luvu a dirty player last year. Sorry, I'm just messing around getting this back. There we go. Frankie Luvu has already been fined. I know he got fined $50,000 already this year for another hip drop tackle. Might have been fined again before that. Frankie Luvu's lost the benefit of the doubt. He is becoming a dirty player, and I don't like saying that. Charmin Ultrasoft. Yeah, that wasn't a very flagrant example of it, but I will say I have seen Luvu hip drop dudes quite frequently. And when he does it, he goes into it very aggressively. It's not just grab, hold on, drop. It's like grab, yank. Like think of like a crackback block, but in hip drop form. Luvu does do this a lot. So honestly, like I don't know if somebody knows if there's another player out there who's been suspended for multiple hip drop violations. Can you let me know? Jayden Daniels gets hip dropped all the time. Granted, though, that is different players doing to him. I've definitely seen Luvu do this several times. What's good, Grant? What's going on, DC Slim? How you doing? Is that PG? You from PG County? What's going on, man? What's dirty about that? It's here. Let me get it back up on the screen. I know we got more people joining in. For the people who did not hear, Frankie Luvu has been suspended for 1 game without pay for repeated violations of the NFL rules. This one coming on a hip drop tackle. Let's watch it again.
Seattle's offensive coordinator.
Luvu's down here at the bottom. You're going to see the play happen about out here on your screen.
Switch up the back to Zach Charbonnet. For UCLA Bruin, Michigan Wolverine. Smith and Jigba again to the 47-yard.
So now I'm no Gene Steratore, who doesn't actually ever really contribute much. No offense to Gene Steratore. He just kind of agrees with whatever they say on the broadcast. But if I were to break this down, here, let me mute this. So Luvu right here, diving into him is fine. It's this roll motion right here where he drops his weight onto the person's lower extremity right there on the ankle, and he chucks his body weight onto it. And again, this as a one-off is not bad. This is actually probably the least flagrant of all of Luvu's hip drops this year. But I'm telling you guys, I have seen him do this numerous times, and he deserved to be called on it. I mean, he got a $50K fine, and it happened again. So this just goes back to more of the technique that they got to teach the boys, I guess. Let's see. It's just that kind of season. Yeah, insult to injury. My solution would be to take the Commanders out of the NFL and give St. Louis a team back. Look, you can get St. Louis a team. You just can't take the Commanders. I'm sorry. I did not celebrate as much as I did when they cleared the DC stadium. I've been driving, and I mean, granted, it could be a lot worse, okay? But I've been driving for hour 15 out to the stadium since I was a little kid. The fact that I can hop on the Metro and be at the game in about 10, 15 minutes from where I live, I'm excited. So get your own team. But that's a bad hip drop call. Again, it is soft. Maybe not soft. It's the least flagrant. That's the way I'd put it. It's the least flagrant of all the ones he's committed this year. But by the letter of the law, it is a hip drop tackle. So this season has been absolutely brutal for Commanders fans. The season opener was fun, though. It's so funny when you go back to the season opener, too, because so I was at that game, and the crowd was chanting, Terry, Terry. The defense gave up 6 points. Jayden had a touchdown, 300 total yards, no turnovers, and you thought he played poorly. So we were thinking, man, this is the MVP season. They fixed the defense. We're all ready to roll. That feels like such a lifetime ago. That's crazy. I really need to know why, who, and how much Dan Quinn paid you to change your mind about him being fired. Well, I'll tell you what. If Dan Quinn paid me, it would probably be a good amount, and I probably would have taken the week off of recording. Okay, so to clarify on this, because I expected to get some pushback on it, and rightfully so. I mean, I did kind of change my words in about a 4-hour window. Let me clarify on this. So for anybody who didn't see both videos, my game reaction, which I posted this morning at like 8 a.m., I said that Dan Quinn deserved to be fired. Posted a video about 4 or 5 hours later, said that I didn't think he should be fired right now. So let me dive into that. So number one, I really have tried to make it a goal not to call for people to be fired on this channel personally, just because I wouldn't like it if someone didn't like me and started broadcasting that I should be fired. Now, granted, there is evidence, right? Like, I'm not saying this for no reason. Dan Quinn did something that led to Jayden getting injured. My point in the second video is not that Dan Quinn, it's not that I'm changing my perspective on if Dan Quinn leaving Jayden in the game meant that he deserved to be fired or not. I still think it's a fireable offense. My point with kind of updating with the second video is when I made my initial reaction and said DQ should be fired for this, I failed to consider the chain of events, the chain reaction that would happen. If we fire Dan Quinn right now, Kliff Kingsbury is becoming the head coach. That is a downgrade for me personally. If we do that, Brian Johnson becomes, I assume it'd be Brian Johnson, most likely becomes the offensive coordinator. That is a downgrade. Right now, the players still respect DQ. The locker room is not toxic. All I was saying in that second video is DQ probably should be here for the next 8 weeks, finish out the season, and then I don't have any papers on my desk, but that folder should go to Adam Peters' desk at the end of the season, and that's when we judge should DQ be fired or not. And we go back to that moment of him putting Jayden out there on the field. That's kind of what I was saying, all that. So I'm not saying DQ doesn't deserve to be fired. I just don't think it's the smart thing to do at this exact moment in time. Would like to know what you guys' thoughts are on that. So please go ahead and let me know. You think we're going to be pretty active before the trade deadline because of the JD5 injury? I imagine we weren't going to do much before the injury, but now it's code red. Yeah, so the reports that I've seen are Andrew Wiley and Nick Allegretti are the two guys most likely to be moved. Personally, I always thought it was Wiley, so that makes sense. I realistically, there's only two people who I would hang up the phone immediately, Jayden Daniels and Trey Amos. Even Josh Connolly, if hypothetically someone would trade for him, I'd listen to it. That's not going to happen, obviously. I'm trying to trade Wagner. I don't think you're going to get anything. I'm trying to trade Ertz. I'm even more confident you're not going to get anything for that. I'm trying to trade Debo. Can we at least get the fifth back that we gave up for him? Maybe even a fourth. I would be taking calls on Terry. I would be trying to shop Daron Payne. I would be trying to shop. Ooh, who else? I got to pull up the depth chart. I'm a more visual learner. I know this isn't learning, but I just got to see everybody in front of me. I would try. I'm just looking at Frankie Luvu with a big SUSP next to his name for suspension. You can't try to trade for Lattimore or trade Lattimore anymore. I would be trying to trade Noah Igbenogany. I think those are the guys that I'm really actively calling other teams and saying, hey, here's what we got. What would you give up for him? And then again, I'm taking calls on pretty much anybody. How many injuries do we have? I have lost count. So I made a list of it earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Because it is something to see it all laid out in front of you. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Send it to my group chat earlier. Why is this? Okay. The Commanders' injuries. You guys ready for this? Jayden Daniels, dislocated elbow. Terry McLaurin, quad, strain, tear, pull, something. Noah Brown, Lord only knows. Luke McCaffrey, broken collarbone. Austin Eckler, torn Achilles. Dorrance Armstrong, torn ACL. Johnny Newton, sprained ankle. Javonte Jean-Baptiste, torn pectoral. Trey Amos, hip. Marshawn Lattimore, torn ACL. Quan Martin, hamstring. Will Harris, broken leg. Dietrich Wise, torn quad. I said Quan Martin. Who else? Colson Yankoff, shoulder. George Fant, forget what he has, but he's got something too. Eddie Goldman, concussion. Half of our starters, 50% of our starters are currently injured. And this is why, I get people who don't follow my channel and don't know what I've been saying over the past weeks and months and everything. They come to my comment section and they say, hey, you're just freaking out for no reason. Injuries, we were never going to survive this. And I would just say, thought I muted my mic there. We're still good, right? Yeah, we are. I would just say to those people, I'm not mad at injuries because we're not supposed to win the Super Bowl. We're not supposed to win the division. We're not supposed to make the playoffs with these injuries. It's the way the losses are happening, the fact that the performances continue to get worse and the young players are regressing. It's become a trendy topic to shit on Adam Peters, and I get it. You want to see more from a lot of his draft picks, but let's be totally honest. I'll put the rookies aside because we're kind of still working on what their baseline is. Let's look at the second-year guys. Which of those, even the third-year players, so like someone like a Quan Martin, they are regressing from where they were last year. That's not necessarily a sign AP made the wrong choice. When Quan Martin looks worse than he did last year, when Sainristil still looks worse than he did as a rookie, when Johnny Newton is getting less reps, and I've actually liked Johnny Newton, but a lot of people have said that they haven't this year. That's a guy who's splitting opinion. But when your young players are getting worse during their formative years, that is my biggest issue with coaching. If we're going to boil it down to one thing, these are the years those players should be getting better. So if you want to say a rookie like Jalen Lane, who's got drop problems and fumble problems, you want to say those a bad pick, cool. You might be right. I'm going to give him some time to form that judgment. But I genuinely worry. I worry that we're not seeing Ben Sinnott on the field. These are the things that scare me and point to bad coaching. So, I've talked about so much the conversations about Joe Whitt Jr.'s scheme and everything. That's one thing that I would say, I don't even care about the scheme. I care about why is Mike Sainristil still getting worse? Why is the best defender on a college team that won a national championship and went undefeated? Nick Saban called him the best pound-for-pound player in the draft. Why is he getting worse? And why is he now a liability? That's what I'd say. Hey, Grant, go Redskins. What's going on, Tom? Appreciate you hopping in here. Let's see. This was supposed to be the year we made a real run for it. How did we do more with less last year? Okay, so again, injuries ruined the bottom line. We shouldn't compare bottom lines. Now, even still, back in the offseason, so my record prediction for us during the offseason, I was always saying 9-8, 10-7. That's what I said. But I made sure to say we can be better than we were last year with a worse record because we got away with a lot of one-score luck, some turnover luck last year. And then also we had a much more difficult schedule this year. So it's not necessarily the bottom line or how did we do more with less last year. It's what's with the gulf, what's with the complete chasm. Because this roster, everybody might not love what AP did in the draft, what he did in the offseason, The roster is better this year, at least at full strength. It is better than it was last year. It simply is. But the team has gotten worse. So again, this is where I go back to coaching. Trying to read through all the comments, guys. I'm trying to get them up on the screen as much as I can. Super chats are on. If you want to make sure that your comment gets seen, you can pop it on the screen. Totally not necessary, but just letting you know. And by the way, I appreciate you guys throwing these in here. I really do. I hopped on just to talk to you guys. So Kliff got slowicked. Does that mean Kliff Kingsbury was fired? Is that breaking news? Are you reporting this? Hold on. Let me see here. No, Kliff Kingsbury's not fired. Okay, so I think what you're saying is Kliff Kingsbury looked like a good offensive coordinator for a rookie quarterback, and then when it didn't work out, either it was his fault / he's being scapegoated by the fans, one of those. Okay, got it. I agree. We have 2 pages of injuries. That's not coach's fault. Quinn has changed the culture of this place, but I do think Whitt needs to be on the hot seat. Yeah, Whitt's seat should still be the hottest. DQ really tried to challenge him. DQ did his best to get fired before Joe Whitt by leaving Jayden in that game. But I do agree with you. Whitt's got the hottest seat. And injuries, or not injuries, the culture piece of it all. I've got so much respect for Dan Quinn as a man. I really do. He's frustrating at the press conferences, but I know it might not sound like it from my video this morning and how I've called him out a couple times, but I do look up to Dan Quinn. I think he's got a lot of leadership qualities, and he's said a lot of things that I hope to apply one day. Again, I know I sound hypocritical right now. I got respect for him. But my fear with DQ, and I've said this on the channel, is he's a 1 to 2 year head coach, meaning you've got a hapless mess, a total dumpster fire. There might not be a better coach in the NFL than DQ to come in, turn everyone around, teach them accountability and unity, set the culture, make everyone feel valued, everyone's a part of it. There might not be a better guy in the NFL, but what happens after that 1 year? What happens after that 2 years? Can we actually win with schematics? Can we develop players? Can we take over? That was my concern. Always was. And maybe you can make the argument it's too harsh to judge him this year because of the injuries, but all I can say is, with that being my concern, nothing that's happened this year has led me to believe that was not a valid concern. Dan ain't going anywhere. I would be very surprised if AP fired someone before the end of the year, just with how much they want to keep everyone together. And also, we're not competing for anything right now. And, if Dan did get fired, I don't think Kliff is becoming the full-time head coach. I'm pretty confident Joe Whitt Jr. is not either. So I think AP would want to avoid the whole weird interim situation as long as there is still respect in the locker room. And it seems like there is. It's okay to say if it's okay to say players should be benched or traded, it's okay to fire coaches. You're right. And I'm not telling anybody not to say it. Again, just for clarity, one final time. What DQ did to me, in my eyes, was a fireable offense. I just don't think now is the time to fire him logistically. Trying to keep up with the comments, guys. Again, really appreciate it. Frankie Luvu out for the Lions game. Forgot all about that. I know Jared Goff is happy as hell right now. He's not going to get a concussion. We don't stand a chance against the Lions. Yeah, I was looking at the odds earlier. I know we were 9-point underdogs. Has that changed at all? We're actually 8.5. So I don't know why money is being put on the Commanders. So the Commanders, you want to know why? So a lot of you guys know this. I actually do a lot of work in sports betting for my day job. And like it or not, the gambling industry exists kind of for a reason. There's a reason that these trading platforms, these political trading platforms, are more accurate than Gallup polls or whatever news source you look at. Wherever the money is going, wherever the millions and billions of dollars are going, that's where the most accurate information is. So the Commanders were 3.5-point underdogs against the Seahawks. Right before kickoff, they moved to 2.5-point underdogs. So it's like, there are two options there. Either the sports books had a change of heart, or a lot of people were betting a lot of money on the Commanders. And normally it's the big money bettors that shift those lines. So I was thinking, are we actually about to upset? Is that what they're telling me? And I hate them. I hate them for giving me that thought because obviously we did not upset. But Commanders opened as 9-point underdogs. They're down to 8.5. People are betting on us again. I don't know why. That's crazy to me. I would assume, are we the largest underdogs of the week? No, we're not. The Raiders are 9.5-point dogs at the Broncos on Thursday. The Bills or the Dolphins are 9.5-point dogs at home against the Bills. And then it's at 8.5. By the way, YouTube, this is not gambling advice. Okay, YouTube, don't demonetize me. Just talking news. Next man up, though. AP went bargain bin shopping, traded away most of his picks, picked mostly duds. I'm not going to judge most of these. I'm not going to judge most of these players, the rookies, the sophomores, because AP drafted off of athletic potential a lot. And that means they're not going to be as good on day one, but theoretically they have a higher ceiling. It's up to coaching to help develop them if they do actually have that potential. So it sounds like a cop-out answer, but it is also, I think, the real answer of we got to give these guys like 3 to 4 years because they're not the finished product. They weren't drafted to be that. As far as him going bargain bin shopping, yeah, I do understand why you would say that, and it does look that way. The one upside is AP did a phenomenal job with our books. Even with the Terry contract, which I know a lot of people are still angry about, the way it looks on the books sets us up perfectly, and we can get off of Terry after next year for a very low penalty. So, like, genuinely, we do have one of the best cap situations next year, the year after, and the year after that in the entire NFL. So that's the upside there. And also, AP knew this is not the time to go buy all the big money players. The roster's not good enough. So I get the frustration, but I am also going to stick up for him there. Guys, I really appreciate the comments. I really do. But I am going to go pull up some plays now because that's what I wanted to do when we started the stream. I will be getting back to the comments, so make sure that you are pouring them in there as we go through this. Let me share my screen again. As we know, this is always a struggle for me. You guys should be able to see this. Yes, you can. Okay, now I got to get the banner off of the screen. All right. So, and can I make this bigger for you guys? I can go full screen on it. Okay, so I wanted to just look back at some of these plays. Let's go. Sam Darnold. Let's go play result, touchdown. And we're going to watch it again just because this is probably my favorite play of the season. And I'm saying that sarcastically. So here we are. This is the Commanders' second touchdown of the game. The first one was to Torrey Horton, right? He caught the first and the second touchdown. I think that's true. So you know how the Commanders have talked all year long about how communication has been one of their biggest issues? Before I'm going to play this clip up until the snap, and then I'm going to rewind it back to the start. We're not even watching the play. I just want you to look at the players, look at the nonverbals, look at the communication, look at the hand gestures, look at all of that when we're talking about communication being an issue. Does that look like a team that is prepared, that they know what they're supposed to do? And now the Seahawks don't make it easy on them. So one thing the Seahawks did a great job of, probably by design, Clint Kubiak was probably watching film and saying, hey, they struggle with communication. That's all they talk about in their press conferences. Let's give them some quick snaps. Now, they didn't exactly quick snap it here, but look how quickly they get up to the line of scrimmage. And they did this a lot. They, like right here, they could have snapped the ball if they wanted to. And look at our defense. If they had this plan as these guys were just running streaks or go balls, Darnold has 2 touchdowns to these players right here. But they don't snap the ball. And again, look at us. So we've got Owens looping around. Wagner's facing backwards. Like, hey, guys, where are you supposed to be? Lattimore's jogging this way. You're going to see him 180 jog back to the other side. Yep, there he goes. Now Lattimore's got his hands out. Like, what am I doing? Wagner's trying to talk to him. Then all of a sudden, Lattimore's coming back this way because we've got motion. Watch Reeves. Watch Reeves right here. He's looking around like, what am I supposed to do? So that leads us up to the snap. Now, you saw this in my game reaction today. You saw this in my second video today. I tweeted it. I sent it to the Discord. By the way, good plug opportunity. If you guys are a fan of the channel, if you're a fan of the Commanders, make sure you do join the full command Discord. I forgot to put the link in this video. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get that for you right now. I am going to put it. Let's see. Okay, this is going to be difficult for me. I can do this. Oh gosh, I've got my own stream up in front of me on YouTube watching my own stream. How do I? Okay, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to put this in the description of the video, which probably means you guys have to close the stream, unfortunately. If you do that, make sure that you do just join right back. Okay, the link to the Discord has been added to the description of this video. If you guys are in here, you want to talk Commanders more often, I share breaking news and stuff like that. We share hot takes, a bunch of cool stuff that's happening in the Discord. Make sure you do join it. It is totally free to join. We also have paid channels for $10 where I do monthly giveaways. Just gave away a jersey, a Jayden Daniels Super Bowl throwback jersey. So some cool opportunities for you guys there. But I've sent this video everywhere I possibly can of this play because it's just so funny to me. So I don't think this play actually exists in any playbook. Now, obviously, something is wrong because you can see that from Jeremy Reeves. He is freaking out. Like, dude, what are we doing? Nobody's in the right spot. So what happens is you're going to get man coverage with Tyler Owens up here. This play, by the way, this is cover 0. So we have no safety help over the top. I'm sure everybody in here knows that. But cover 0 means 0 safeties up top. Cover 1, we've got 1 person up at the top. Cover 2, we've got 2 deep halves, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not expecting help over the top. So Tyler Owens is in man coverage right here. Lattimore has got, I think this is 82. I forget his name. It's the practice squad guy who caught the 60-yard touchdown. Lattimore's got him in man coverage right here. This is Jackson Smith and Jigba down here at the bottom. Trey Amos is playing him. He's on the outside because he's got Quan Martin over the top. They're bracketing him, which means they're essentially double teaming him. So we have a double team on JSN. We've got Lattimore in man coverage with, again, I forget this guy's name. We've got Owens in man coverage out here. That's the basic structure. We have Jeremy Reeves. He has no idea what he's supposed to do. So he just kind of contain blitzes. Let me go back. Didn't mean to skip ahead that far or to let it run that far. Watch Reeves. He just doesn't know what to do. So he's like, I guess I better run. And he loops to the outside to effectively hold contain on Darnold, keep him in the pocket. Luvu is spying. Wagner is double spying. We have a double spy on Sam Darnold. And then once the running back gets up here, Wagner takes him. So already this play is just confusing me. We have 3 people rushing the passer in cover 0. Cover 0 is normally a 6, 7, even 8-man blitz. That's what cover 0 should be. And instead, we have 3 people rushing the quarterback. These 3, this is Payne. I think this is Martin, and I can't tell who this is. Von Miller, maybe. But the star of this play is Mike Sainristil. And like Marshawn Lattimore's caught a lot of flack this year, and he deserved to. He played really bad. With me saying that, feel horrible for Lattimore. I think we all do. At least we all should. It sucks for us as a team because he's not on field / he's not tradable. It sucks for him personally. He didn't play well. He knows it. And now he's suffering a major injury. He's going to be 29 next year. It's not good for anybody. But the star of the play, and in some ways the star of the season, is Mike Sainristil. Lattimore has been the shield to catch all of the criticism for the defense. Sainristil has been pretty terrible this year. The one good thing I can say about him is he's the one to have made the positive plays. He's the one who gets the interceptions, but just watch what happens here. This is Torrey Horton, by the way, who's a 5th-round rookie out of Colorado State. Look what he does to Sainristil. It's over. The play is over right here. We don't have safety help over the top because our safety over here is in man coverage, and then Quan is bracketing JSN. This play is done. Now, Horton, the route, it's a corner route, so he ends up peeling to the bottom. But if Horton wanted to, I mean, he could go straight, he could go across the field, he could do anything. This is a touchdown any way he wants it. He beats him so bad off the release, and Sainristil also just looks slow here. It's a weird play where Sainristil, he gets beat so badly that it looks like he's in trail technique with safety help over the top. That's what it looks like the play is supposed to be because of how bad he gets beat on this play. And it ends up being a touchdown. Look at the separation that exists here. We talk about throwing guys open in the NFL. This is open in high school. So that's a bad play. Now let's go to the Elijah Arroyo touchdown. This was the first play after the Jalen Lane fumble. So, back it up here. So Arroyo is right here at the end of the line. Tyler Owens has been playing to play man coverage against tight ends. So you're going to see him lined up against a tight end right here. And he just gets jumpy. He jumps inside right before the snap. And then when he goes to recover to Arroyo, he goes down instead of going up to stay in front of him. And we can watch what happens here. Great ball by Darnold, by the way. Owens also. So Owens, I don't know if anybody in here runs track. Owens is legit fast. He's close to as fast as Tyreek Hill was when Tyreek Hill was winning U20 world gold medals in track and field. Owens is very close to that fast. So he does bail himself out and close the distance, but he's just late getting his head around. Maybe could have gotten a hand on it. If that head's around, it's actually probably an interception, but great ball from Darnold. And at this point, it's 21-0, I think still in the first quarter, maybe second quarter, but that's effectively game over at that point with the way things were going. How you guys feeling about that so far? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to read the comments, then we can go look at some more stuff. Let me get these up here. We got a super chat from ATA Custom Painting. Appreciate you. Who will be on the group pod later tonight? So I'm going to be honest with you. Totally honest. I do not know. My boy Tone over at the PSN network. Let me see. Can I get you... For someone who posts videos on YouTube, you would think I would know how to work the actual YouTube platform better. PSN Commanders Network. That's the name. When I get off of here, I'll put his link, his channel link in the description below. And like I said, I will be making an actual post later with the live stream link as well. But PSN Commanders Network, they're the ones hosting the stream. I know that like 6, 7, 8 people were invited. I think there's gonna be like 4 or 5 of us. I don't actually know who's gonna be in attendance, but yeah, you can find me over there. Sorry, I wish I had a better answer for you. Go Cardinals, beat Dallas. We're always rooting for the Cowboys to lose here. Let's see. What's up, GM? Appreciate all the coverage as usual. Jayden shouldn't be back till next year. Let him get 100% of the season over. Appreciate you being here. I see you in the comments all the time, showing love, giving your feedback as well. Yeah, I don't want to see Jayden Daniels on the field this year. Just does not need to happen. No reason. Okay. I feel AP is at his best when signing former high-round picks don't live up to the hype like Kinlaw and Shin. They get their groove back with us, and I don't know. We signed so many 30-plus players. I mean, look, Treylon Burks, you also just reminded me. Asante Samuel Jr. Let me get the official announcement up. Asante Samuel Jr., who had a spinal fusion procedure this offseason, was fully cleared to return to the NFL by respected doctors David Okonkwo and Nick Theodore in a letter agent Trevon Smith presented to NFL teams. Reach out. We're not playing for anything aside from the future this season. He is a free agent. You don't need to trade for him. Send out an offer. I saw Beanie Bishop was released off the Steelers practice squad. I've got a really good friend who's a Steelers fan. He said he would be perfect for the Commanders because he can't cover anybody. So low blow. Also, I don't know about him, but Asante Samuel, We did it with Treylon Burks. We did it with Drake Jackson. Yes, let's be reaching out to these young guys. Kliff might be going to LSU after this season. That's my prediction. That is genuinely my prediction. I think Kliff Kingsbury will be the LSU head coach. It'd be great for him. I think he's gotten better in terms of when he was with Arizona, he was clearly a college coach. He's now seen what he did last year. He's also an NFL coach. I do still think currently he is better fit for college. And coaching in college is just a better gig than coaching in the NFL. It is. You make more money. You get a longer contract. You've got a longer runway. You've got more security. LSU, Kliff's contract with LSU would probably be like $80 million for 8 years. And if he gets fired after 3, he gets a $50 million buyout. So, yeah, if Kliff gets that opportunity, he should take it. Mike needs nerds coaching him, not tough guys. He ain't built for that. We talking about Sainer still here? I mean, Harbaugh's a bit of a nerd and a tough guy. And then was he with Mike McDonald or Jesse Minter? Let's see. So Sainer still. McDonald was with the Seahawks last year. So that would have meant McDonald was the Ravens DC the year before that. So it would have been Minter with Sainer still at Michigan. And then I guess Sainer still as a junior would have been with McDonald. So he was with both of them, but he won the national championship with Minter, I believe. Not too familiar with Minter's personality. That's all I know. Can we go back to last year? Fast forward to the next one already. I don't know how much more I can take. It's gonna be a fun time, especially for Commanders content creators. I hate that word. It cringes me out every time I say it. Just people who want to talk about the Commanders. I feel like we're just gonna be having the same conversations over and over again. JSN also cooked Amos on that last play you showed. Yes, Amos, he did. Amos had like 4 or 5 separate plays where he pulled up with that hip injury. That kind of ties into my frustration with DQ. Amos should have been out of that game early second quarter, and they kept allowing him to go back, and he kept pulling up on the – here, why don't I go to the final touchdown? Get rid of this for you guys. Yeah, so watch Amos. Amos messes this up. He bites on the play action. Really interesting conversation going on right now about game theory as well. The Seahawks play big. A lot of 12, a lot of 22 personnel, 13 personnel, even stuff like that. So teams are matching them, but the Seahawks are just going big so that they can throw the football because they trust themselves. They trust themselves in those personnel groupings with their heavy sets. They trust their tight ends catching the ball. They trust JSN's ability to win in man. They trust Darnold with the play action. Interesting conversation going on about how teams should not match their personnel. Teams should just stay in nickel, stay in dime even, whatever it is, and stop because the Seahawks don't want to run the football. Even though they play big, they don't run the football well. So the conversation topic right now is make them run the football. Stop matching them to allow them to throw it. But different conversation for a different day. So watch Amos here, 23. We're going to get some play action. He's going to bite down way too hard. He's responsible for this man. Darnold's going to throw it to him. Now watch Amos. As a matter of fact, maybe the end zone. The end zone view might give you a better view. Let's see if we can get eyes on Amos here. So once 82 here starts running away on the touchdown, watch Amos's gait. Right there. Look at how he's running. He's very clearly injured, yet he keeps going out on the field. And this is like the 3rd or the 4th time where in real time in my notes app, which I always type, I'm saying, take him out of the game. He is injured. Let's talk about this actual play, though. So again, Amos screws this up by sinking down to play the run. He totally messes it up. But Quan Martin, the safety position, it's in the name, safe. You're the last line of defense. You're supposed, when all else goes wrong, first of all, if the ball gets to you, that's an issue. Everything else is supposed to have stopped it, but you are supposed to keep the end zone safe. You're supposed to protect it. Quan just Look at this. Can I zoom in on this? Is that possible? No, it's not showing up on the stream. He's not his arms are like this. He's tackling like this. You see this so often with Quan. He just runs around looking to dive into players instead of actually tackling them. Look at that. He's not wrapping up at all. He's just doing this. Again, going back to Lattimore. Lattimore's been the butt of the jokes, and then it became Wagner, but Sainristil's had a bad year. Quan is doing stuff like this every game, on top of not being good in man coverage, or in pass coverage, at all. It's just so frustrating, because these are the mistakes that are losing us games, and not just losing, we're getting blown out. Lost by 22 to the Cowboys, lost by 21 to the Chiefs, lose by 24 in this game. And these are the mistakes. This should not be an issue. This is high school teach tape. Hey, don't do this. And this is where our downfall is occurring, feels like basically every week. That's what gets me hot. And I'm sure it's what gets the coaches hot too, because I know they're talking about this all the time. I think I'm going to pivot to toxic optimism for the rest of the year. Oh no, I can't stand those people. And I'm a cynic by nature, but the toxic optimists, I wish I had their mentality. I really do. The life would just be so much easier. Why are they? Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. This is something I want to talk about. Why are they moving Joe Whitt down to the field now? This could have been done early on. It has really helped defenses in a huge way. So I will be honest. I'm not overly informed on the merits of moving someone from the box to the field. I understand it can help speed up communication. My thought is also, if the position coaches are doing a good job coaching up the players during the game, think about when the offense has the football, can Whitt go over and have those one-on-one conversations with the players? That's my thought process. The thing I would be worried about is if Joe Whitt Jr. doesn't see the game as well from the field as he does up high with a bird's eye view. But right now, what does that matter? We're not doing anything right. If the play call is good, the players aren't executing. If the players are executing, the play call is bad. So a change had to be made. And DQ's not going to fire his guy right now. But I bet DQ is the one who said, Joe, you're coming down to the field because we have to change something. And I think this is what they went to. Now, obviously, this is also a sign they're clutching at straws here. They're trying to find anything they can. We saw them switch from nickel to a lot of 3-4 last week. Luvu became a full-time edge player. Owens and McGee got the starts. Like they're grasping on. They're looking for anything. It's just not coming to them. I'm just going to continue watching the Lions game of last year's playoffs. Hopefully that will be our peak. It's a great idea. 1 o'clock. Please tell me we're not in prime time again, right? We're not. We've got to be a 1 o'clock game. Oh, we're a 4:25. We're going to be America's game of the week on Fox with Tom Brady. Damn it. At 4:25, just go to YouTube, watch the NFL's full game replay. Don't watch it. Luvu is suspended 1 game. Yep, if anybody is joining here, didn't catch that news, Frankie Luvu has been suspended 1 game for multiple violations of the NFL's rules. This suspension was related to a hip drop tackle. He had been fined $50,000 for a hip drop. I think he'd been fined before that as well, something like $15,000. So, yeah. That's Frankie Luvu's got to get that cleaned up. Let's see. If we get a new DC, who are the top people you would want us to get? So, good question here. And honestly, I should have a better answer for you. I always feel guilty when I come on live streams and people ask me questions like this, because I don't want to just BS you. I want to give you a real answer. And I haven't thought about who my DC choice would be. So, give me just a moment here to mull through here. The biggest problem for me personally with coordinators is if we're looking at the teams that are playing well, it's not always just the DC, it's the position coach. But, for example, the Seahawks. So I've loved Mike Macdonald since he was at Michigan. In my opinion, the 3 best defensive minds in the sport are Mike Macdonald, Steve Spagnuolo, and Brian Flores. Those are my 3. So I don't know if the Seahawks have an outstanding DB coach or linebacker coach. I don't. And hey, if Joe Whitt's our guy, let's be honest, Joe Whitt Jr. has had a sparkling career as a position coach. He has been phenomenal. So it's hard for me to say unless I'm picking other current DCs. But the problem is, I would love Jesse Minter from the Chargers. Why would he leave? Why would he make a lateral move? Why would he go from being a DC to a DC here? Vance Joseph has done a great job with the Broncos. Why would he leave? Robert Saleh has done a great job with the Niners. Why would he leave? So that's the problem I run into. We can talk about retreads and we can talk about guys that have been fired and are currently out there looking for a job. Maybe it's someone that's coming from the college level. Kirby Smart, I'll take him as my DC. But, when we have those conversations, that leads us back to the same ones we had when we hired Dan Quinn, when we hired Kliff Kingsbury. Retread coach, got fired for a reason. We already know what he's going to be. So I will come back. I plan on making a video where I talk everything, future plans, players, coaches, everything. And I will have a list. But off the top of my head, it's just not very easy to do for that reason. I hope that makes sense. And again, I appreciate the comment. I'm not trying to blow you off at all. Hopefully that does help answer some of the question. We need to start drafting blue chip players from blue chip programs. Okay, so let's get Commanders past draft picks. And this actually transitions well too, because I did want to look at all of our draft picks recently. So I'm glad you said this. Matter of fact, who was this? Brandon Washington. Thank you for saying this. Guarantee that Marcus Mariota won't make it out of the Lions game, man, because of these injuries. Fingers crossed. Prayers. Knock on wood. Everything we can for Marcus Mariota and the rest of these players, because this season is cursed. Share. Nope. There we go. Share the screen. At least I've learned how to share my screen now because I've done it so much. Yes, I need to turn on ad block. Don't say anything. Okay. So Josh Connolly from Oregon. We'll call that a blue chip program, especially nowadays. Trey is from Ole Miss. Blue chip. Maybe not blue chip, but like big time SEC school that wins a lot of games. Virginia Tech. My Hokies with James Franklin. Maybe we become a blue chip one day, but not right now. UCLA, no. Arizona, no. LSU, same thing as Ole Miss. Big time LSU program. Heisman winner. We'll let them off. Illinois, no. Michigan, yes. Kansas State, no. TCU, no. Rice, no. Temple, no. Washington, no. Notre Dame, yeah, I'll give it to them. Ole Miss, no. Illinois, no. Arkansas, no. Utah, no. Clemson, yes. And ironically, this is KJ Henry, of course. Kentucky, no. Louisiana, no. Penn State, yes. Bama, yes. Bama, yes. Louisiana, no. Sorry, I was just taking a moment to really soak that in. No, get out of here. Louisiana, no. UNC, Nevada, Tulsa, Oklahoma State, no. Kentucky, no. Texas, at the time we drafted him, Texas was not a blue chip. I mean, I guess technically they are now. Minnesota, UNC, Boise State, Cincinnati, Michigan, the lone snapper, who can forget that? Baylor, Penn State, BYU. So for the most part, this has not held up. And it's not always going to. A lot of those blue chip prospects are going to go early, but the point you are making is taken well. And finally, can I close this thing? Thank you. So the reason I am glad that you brought this up, I hope Franklin brings us back to glory, although he won't win anything. He's going to win every game he should win, and he's going to lose every game he should lose. And hey, that means we're going 10-2 every year, and that's better than we've had since 2015. So sign me up for James Franklin. If we get a new DC, who would your top people be? Okay, so this was you that commented this 11 minutes ago. I did try my best to answer it, so feel free to rewind about 2 or 3 minutes and take a listen to it. You guys can see this, right? I know it looks small on my screen, but I think it looks okay for you guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we talk about where we are just as a roster, right? When we talk about where we are as a roster, it's important to keep in mind here. we're not exactly drawing from a deep cupboard. I get it. We're a little split on AP's draft picks right now, but it's not like we have a lot of depth that we can go back to. Is it possible for me? Can I split these tabs? And can you guys see that? No, you can't. Okay. All right. Sorry. I was trying to do something cool. Oh gosh, I'm messing it all up. I'm sorry. We're getting this sorted out. Good. Chrome introduced this new split tab thing. I thought if I was sharing my screen, I could share both of them. It didn't work. Okay, we're back. So we're going to have to do this without a Word document. We're just going to do it by memory. So we're going to sort these players by, let's do it like the 5 names to remember. We've got green, yellow, and red, like stoplight. And then we can leave blank if we don't think that we have a determination of them. So let's do the last 5 years. Dax Milne, red. Shaka Toney, red. 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 I'll give a yellow to John Bates. Red. Red. I'll give a green to Cosme. Red. Red. I'll give a yellow to Chris Paul. Red. 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 Yellow for Quan. Red. 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 Incomplete. Yellow. Red. Red. Yellow. Red. Green. Is that our first green here? Yellow. Incomplete. Red. Green, yellow. That's how I would scale those. So when that's how the roster has been constructed over the last 5 years, people want to get mad at AP for us not having depth, want to get mad at him for not spending money, want to get mad that we don't have players behind injuries, mad that the young guys aren't stepping up. All of these frustrations are valid, okay? All of them are valid. They're reasons to be mad. But we have to be honest about where we are also at. Even if things went well this season, we were still going to be at least 2 years away from sustainability. Now, let me go check. Do we have any news about draft picks? Because that would help if we could pick up some draft picks. No, we don't. Doesn't look like there's drama going on in Chicago. Rome Odunze's father wants the Bears to trade him because they don't throw the ball enough. I don't think we're trading for Rome Odunze. Yeah, no news on the Commanders. So, I mean, we have 5 picks right now. It's probably going to be 6. We're probably going to get a compensatory pick for Jonathan Allen. But we need more than that. It's painful. It's painful to know that we could go 4-13 this year, 5-12, get a top 5, top 7 pick, and we wouldn't have our second round pick. We wouldn't be picking. That would give us 2 picks in the top 40, and we don't have that because we traded it for Tunsil. And I'm not going to do revisionist history. Tunsil has been good for us. He's going to be good for us for the next couple of years. It's not that it was a mistake to trade for Tunsil. It's just painful. It's painful that we don't have these pieces to rebuild better. If Kliff leaves, what OC would you like? So I'll give a similar answer to my thing about the DC. It's just difficult to say because anyone I'm going to say is a retread. I think there are a lot of great position coaches and assistants and coordinator or like pass game coordinators, run game coordinators. Problem is I just don't know because I've never had those jobs. So I can say if the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel, that's probably my number 1 guy. The Cowboys, I forget if he's their OC or their run game coordinator, but I was looking at his resume and it's really impressive. And the Cowboys offense this year has been spectacular, especially the fact they can run the football is astonishing. They were supposed to have the worst running game in the NFL this year, and they've been spectacular. So, hey, if the Cowboys want to keep feeding us, they gave us Quinn and Whitt. They gave us Dorrance. I'll again, whether it's the OC, the run game coordinator, I'd have to go look at it, but that guy would be up on my list. I'm looking at some of these names. I'm looking at some of these teams. Now I'm trying to think about college guys. Yeah, I would have to circle back to the same thing. I can give you those two names. I would love to have a Joe Brady, but that's not happening. He's also a guy who's in contention for that LSU job, most likely. He'll be in contention for the Penn State job. I could give you guys more, but it wouldn't be real. I'll come back with a real list soon. Do you have a Hokie channel? Sorry to keep changing the topic. I do not. Is that something you would be interested in? Because I have been thinking about ways to kind of expand the content, and that would be separate. But I have thought about, do I have more? Should I have like NFC East round tables where I could get creators from other NFC East teams? Don't know if you guys would like that. If I should make a separate channel for that sort of content, do the NFL as a whole. Suggestion here, maybe it's a Virginia Tech channel. I don't know. I'm open to anything, whatever you guys want to see. What round pick would we get for Allen? I believe it's supposed to be a 6th, so not exactly the best thing in the world. So we'd have 1, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7. Two picks before the 5th round. Trade Whitt for an 8th round. My bad, Joe Whitt. Jim Morris, what's going on? Good to see you. You think getting rid of Robinson is looking like a bad move? He can hit the line pretty hard. I don't. I think the team knew that they were not re-signing B-Rob. It just was not going to happen. If you look at his fair market value, I haven't looked at this since the offseason, so I'm trying my best to remember. I believe over the cap said his fair market value would be $8.5 million average annual value on his next deal. And that means he's probably going to ask for like $10 million just because that's how negotiations go. You ask for above fair market value and then negotiate it down. And he wasn't going to get that money. I think what the Commanders need to do is to bring back that power run style. I think they need to give C-Rod, Chris Rodriguez, he should be getting the early downs. Bill's just gotten dancy. He's gotten jumpy in the backfield. And I saw a really intelligent comment in one of my videos earlier today. Someone said maybe it's the fumbles. Maybe he's gotten in his own head about it. It's definitely possible, but he just looks unsure of where to go behind the line of scrimmage. And probably the best player in a Commander's uniform on Sunday night was probably Chris Rodriguez Jr. So letting him soften up the holes and then Bill comes in on 2nd, 3rd down, I think that's probably the best way forward. And you would get this B-Rob effect while you also get the draft pick you got from trading B-Rob. You essentially swapped B-Rob for Debo. That's essentially what it was. So I think that's the way to go about it. So a 1, 3, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be 1, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7. If I said 3 6s, that was my fault. 1, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7. Yeah, that gets you to 6 total draft picks, and that's what it would be. And then more if we can trade some guys. Again, I would say Andrew Wiley would be the most likely to go if I were picking somebody. And my guess would be Wiley in a 7th for someone's 6th. I think that's what the package would be. Do we have any more trade updates? Let me just scour my sources. Frankie Luvu will lose $508,000 from his game check if he does not play on Saturday or Sunday. Wow, that's not. It's a tough lesson to learn. Yeah, doesn't look like Luvu will appeal the suspension per source according to ESPN's John Keim. Okay, yeah, does not look like we have any Commanders trade news. So I don't know. I'm going to be waiting patiently. I've already recorded 2 videos today. I'm doing a live stream here. Got another live stream coming up at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So you guys, I promise you guys, I'll be all over the news when it drops. If it does drop, we just got nothing right now. I would love to share it with you, but I don't have anything. I'm going to be honest, guys. My fiance is getting home in about 15 minutes, and I should probably have dinner ready for her. So how would I feel if Washington made no trades? Awful. I probably should have dinner ready for her. So I am going to go get that taken care of one final time. I will post the link to the upcoming stream in its own post. So go to your sub box, look for my channel, and you will see it there. I also need to figure out if there's a way we can get it to stream on my channel. I know there's a way to do it. Don't know if I have the know-how to get it done, but I'll try. Guys, I do appreciate you joining me. Been in here for over an hour now. You guys are awesome. You guys know that. As always, to anybody who's watching the rebroadcast, even if you're not watching this live, still hit the like button. YouTube posts it as its own video afterwards, so it really helps me out. Leave comments in the comment section afterwards. As always, I'll be responding to those as well. And I'm going to head out of here, guys. I appreciate y'all joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.